and intimate friend of me and Dr. DILFS. Please welcome Master Sable.
I think we're about to get kinky tonight.
Welcome back to another episode of Up All Night. I'm your host, Bobby Knight, and we're going to be recapping For the Love of DILFS Season 2, Episode 4. I'm so excited to get into this one. It's getting so good. It's getting juicy. And I'm just very excited that you guys have been helping me out with this new podcast by sharing and liking and telling people about it. Please continue to do so, and please follow the pod at Up All Night Pod on Instagram and on YouTube at Up All Night, night with a K. Really helps if you like, comment, share, all that stuff. I took some advice from you guys to fix this episode a little bit better. Make sure the sound is good. I got a new mic. So hopefully the sound's a lot better this time. I know last time it messed up a little bit, and there's nothing I could do because I already recorded the whole thing. So, say la vie. But let's get right into this episode of For the Love of DILFS, Season 2. So quick recap from the last episode, we had new himbo, Hazel, come into the house and shake things up. Hazel's picking of the dates started a domino effect, which made people switch up their dates and stuff, which I think is cool because that way some people get to know each other a little bit better. And spoiler alert, there will be spoiler alerts all throughout. I was told I should have said that. I mean, it's a recap. I feel like that's common knowledge. Spoiler alert, I will talk about people who are eliminated and are getting eliminated. So, yeah. Fair warning. So last episode, Aaron ended up going home and because Sal picked Hazel at the end, and Aaron was not very pleased. He thought there was some shenanigans afoot, and so Sal's now trying to couple up with Hazel, and will that come back to bite him in the butt? We'll find out. And I think that everyone's saying you should stay loyal to the person that you picked right from the beginning being blindfolded is kind of nuts, but watching it like this, I'm like, that's crazy. But when I was doing it, when it was me, I was like, hell yeah. Like, this is the guy I got matched with in the beginning. I'm just going to ride this shit till the end. But then watching it, I'm like, that's dumb. Don't do that. So it's just weird to fully have a different perspective on the same exact thing, just as an outsider instead of being in it. But I'm watching it and I'm like, don't do that. Date other people. But if someone said that on my season, and like you saw what happened when Nate picked somebody else on my season, I had a fucking heart attack. We start the episode, and some of the daddies are out hanging in the pool, just chatting, hanging out in that gorgeous weather, and then this comes up.
There was one thing that he mentioned as far as the control thing, like, that's not something that I'm worried about, and something that we kind of had a conversation about.
Are you aggressive or possessive?
I always say that one of my toxic traits are that I'm very controlling, in a way. And I think that the control thing that he had was with someone he just wasn't attracted to. And again, like, I'm not trying to control his life or control what he does in his life. But again, like, I'm just naturally dominant energy where it's like, it comes to read off as controlling, but...
Has that caused problems in your relationships in the past?
Yes.
Basically, Edwin's in the pool, and the thing about him being controlling was still on his mind, obviously. And he says that, he goes on further to say that his mom and his dad were that way, and his dad would like lay out the clothes and be like, here's what you're wearing. But he's like, if that's not controlling, that's leading. But I mean, potato, right? So I think that this is going to be like a recurring thing that comes up with control and stuff. But the thing about, I think, even with like Edwin, because like, obviously he's very smart. He's got a great job. Some people need to be like, being in control makes them feel safe. And that not necessarily means like you have to control other people, or it's like, oh, like an overbearing thing. Like, he probably just wants to be able to control the environment around him, which, yeah, that can be a toxic trait, as he said, and it can make other people feel shitty, but it could also be a way of him making himself feel safe and like he has control over what's going on around him. I surely don't like to give up control. I mean, it depends sometimes, right? We go upstairs to the pool table, and a couple of the himbos are playing pool, and Nick's kind of worried because he's saying that he has to tell Kane about his job, the way he worded it was like that he hadn't told him yet. So it was kind of weird. I don't know. This scene comes off strange, and it's going to go back to the fact that I said before, like, I speak Nick. Like, I get what he's saying sometimes, but it almost feels like he's saying it in his head. He's like trying to play out what he's going to say in his head and say it in real time. It's strange. It comes off a little bit like disjointed. Here, listen to what happened here.
So, say you tell him about your job.
Oh no, I told him about my job on the date, and he said it doesn't bother him.
Oh,
but that's
so what's the problem? Nick was skating around those questions, and it got real juicy to the point I even had to ask him, "Girl, are you fake?"
I stopped listening to my friends, my own self, and I start listening to what I think is gonna make this relationship work. Living in LA, my walls have been so high due to the fact that I've been screwed over so many times, and now I'm like, okay, maybe I can just let some out and just breathe for just 1 second.
So, can I ask you another question, baby?
I'm not charging for the next one.
Do you see yourself with him outside of this?
Honestly, he's someone that I feel like I can look up to. I've never had someone.
Girl, I didn't say that.
What?
I did not say that.
Oh, girl?
He looked at me off guard and he was like, oh, and I was like, yeah, oh.
You said.
Basically, he gets all caught up on his words, and if you're watching it, not just listening to the audio, if you can see it, at one point he's like, "What I want," like he literally like stops and like looks up to like think about how he could word it, and it just seems. I'm gonna be straight up. He got an opportunity to be on TV and he wanted to be on TV. That's exactly how it's coming across. It sucks. I'm sure he's great. I would do the same thing. I did do the same thing. I did happen to genuinely connect with somebody and I was single for reals. I don't think that's the case here. With him, unfortunately, I think he's a sweetie. I think he's really fun to look at, but it does seem as if, like, okay, and I love Tokyo, and no shade at all. He's going to kill me if he hears this. When Tokyo got himself eliminated on that red flag, green flag thing, it was kind of like, well, yeah, you didn't actually take in and listen to anything that the person that you were supposed to be with was saying and doing. You knew nothing about that person. And I feel like if that competition were to happen right now with Nick and Kane, I don't think that Nick would know anything about Kane. I think Kane would know a bunch about Nick, and Kane seems to like champion for him all the time too. He's like, he's misunderstood, people don't get it. So I think that maybe, sure, they might be physically attracted to each other a little, but it seems either like Nick is just there for the show, which awesome, I would do the same thing, or that he's like not looking for a relationship at all, or doesn't want one, or maybe is already in one outside of the show. It just seems like he got so like that scene right there. He's so caught up. He's like, he's trying to think out the proper way to say this without sounding, I don't know. That's my opinion, and I'm gonna stick to it, I guess, until I'm proven wrong. And we have all the cast is getting ready for the next competition. It's a spelling bee, which is gotta be one of the funniest things I've seen so far in this season, because you'll see. Like, I think I'm pretty good at spelling and pretty good at math, and some of these words, the few might catch you up. We'll go over them in a second, but some of them, I guess, you know what I think it is? I think it's trying to spell in a spelling bee. You can't write anything down and see it, because I bet that I would, like, without using my phone or having like a pad of paper, I'd probably make like little mistakes here and there on words too. But it's really fun to watch everyone try to do it and spell with their finger on the like on the board in front of them, and they look so cute. They've all got their nerd glasses on. I think this is adorable. And so basically the winning person gets to pick their daddy or himbo to go on a private one-on-one date. And then the winning team gets to be the winning. Now listen, I fully thought going into this, on the daddy team, there are men that are 60 years old. There are doctors. There are accomplished people. I was like, they're going to wipe the floor with these other boys here. And then part of me was like, what if for some strange reason the twins are like secret geniuses? Imagine if they're just like out of nowhere crazy smart. So it gets started, and here I'm just gonna play this over for anyone listening to the audio version. I'm not gonna play through the whole thing and do every word. I'm just gonna play it here in the background while we talk about it. So let's get going with the first words that were up. And if you are listening to the audio and not watching, I want you to try to spell these words yourself and see if you would have got them right, because I think I would have did all right, but I mean, you always think you're going to do well until you're there. Because you get so nervous up there too. When you're when you're put on the spot for something like this, you get nervous as hell. And they're also they're wearing name tags here, and all their names are like not spelled correctly, which is hilarious as well. And I wonder how what they would have put for Bobby. They probably would have put Booby on mine, right? Or like Bobby, Bawbee. That would be funny. Well, they go through, and you only get one chance. If you're out of the competition. The first word is daiquiri, and Kane is up for that. Kane gets it wrong straight away. He says he doesn't even drink daiquiris, so that's got to be why. I've drank every form of daiquiri or alcoholic beverage in my time, and I think that I might have got tripped up on that one too, because Daiqur. See, it already went away, and I don't know if I got it right. So next up is jewelry, and sometimes the way people say it and the way it's like jewelry, but I forget. I can't tell if that's Derek or Daniel. One of the twins, and he gets it right. Circumcision is the next one that Jimmy got, and well, I don't know if Jimmy's circumcised, but that's the word that he got, and he did spell it wrong. So I mean, please don't circumcise your kids. I promise they're gonna try to restore their foreskin when they get older, because. Leave that alone. Leave the wieners alone. Next up is Rico, and I had a feeling that he was going to get this wrong straight away, and he had this look on his face like, what? And the word is equestrian or equestrial, something like that. And I had a look. I was like, is that like mean horse stuff? And it does mean horse stuff, but he did not spell it right at all. And Stormy's a horse lady, an equestrian. So she was a little offended by that one. Equestrian. They should start like a knight like that. Nigel's up next, and his word is situationship. And he takes this very seriously, as Nigel does with most things on the show. And he's looks like he's shaking almost, but he starts using his finger to write it out on the board in front of him, which I think is smart, though, because it gives you like almost like that mental picture, and he gets it right. So that strategy did work. Hazel's up next, and Hazel gets definitely, and he gets it right. I always misspell that, like, all the time. If it wasn't for the autocorrect on my phone. Sal is up next, and he gets tantalizing is his word. And if you thought that he was going to spell it right, you were wrong. I just think that it's funny that, like, they're having these grown adult men do the spelling bee. And then Sal says the funniest thing. He's like, if it was on my typewriter. And then he's like, wait, I mean, like, keyboard. Like, he always lets his age show all the time. I had a typewriter. I'm only 38. I had a typewriter. Keese is up next, and he gets effervescence. And you could tell by the look on his face once Stormy said the word that he was like, I ain't gonna get this one. But yeah. Wait, did I just out myself? I know, I didn't lie about my age in the show. Yeah, I'm 38 now. I just turned 37 when I filmed. Some of us don't lie about our age. Next up, and this one's funny, it's Dr. Ed, and he gets the word Connecticut. And funny story is I know how to spell Connecticut because I spelled Connecticut wrong in second grade. I had to stand up and we had to spell, and I spelled it wrong. And then I always remember my aunt said to me, remember it as Connecticut. And that's how I always remember. So when I see the word Connecticut, I just, whatever. Nick is up next. Nick gets fuchsia. Immediately gets that wrong. I would have got that wrong too. I didn't realize it was spelt like that. Anthony goes, and his word is labyrinth. He gets that wrong. He gets it wrong and then continues to keep spelling it wrong too. Like, you can leave it alone. Derek is up next, and he gets puppeteer, which that was a tricky word. He got it right. I didn't realize there were two E's at the end of puppeteer. I almost said N's. I definitely would have got that one wrong. So now it comes down to Nigel being the only daddy left, and he gets alchemy for his word, and he's spelling it out with his finger, slowly and dramatically, as one does in a spelling bee for adult men. And he's really taking his time and milking it. And, oh, I just realized that he's wearing yellow, like how a bumblebee would be yellow. Good for you, girl. Good for the commitment to being a bee in the spelling bee. By the way, Stormy looks hot as hell in her little teacher / schoolgirl outfit that she's got going on. But so Nigel is still, this is in real time, by the way, that Nigel started spelling alchemy. He's only 4 letters in. You would think he was buying a house. We're still spelling alchemy. Still spelling it. Nope, you didn't drop the feed. He is still trying to figure out the 5th letter in alchemy, and he got it wrong. And then runs away, but buzzes away like a bumblebee. So it's official, Team Daddy is out of the running to win this spelling bee, and I was shocked. Because you would think himbos that have a reputation of being dummies, but not these himbos, especially the twins, and then Hazel. But Hazel was like raised in some weird religious-y cults type thing, right? So I bet you they make them study words often. The next word up is minuscule. And then Stormy makes a joke about the former orange guy's tiny dong, which even the jokes about it are gross now. It's like, I don't even want to picture how, oh, it's probably orange. Yikes. So Daniel gets minuscule. He spells it wrong right from the beginning. So now it's left on Derek to carry the win for the twins, or for Hazel, the new guy, to take it. And I think it would be a gag if Hazel came in and then won right away and put a big target on his back and went home same episode. Hazel gets fraudulent and he ends up spelling it wrong. He messes up at the end, which means that Derek has to spell the next word right to win, and his word is surveillance. And he starts doing the spell it with your finger on the board trick too. So I think that they saw it works for Nigel, but he spells it right and he wins the spelling bee. So Derek is officially the smart, and they give him a trophy, and he's officially the smartest speller in the house. I wanted a trophy. I didn't get a trophy, a t-shirt, nothing. They didn't give me nothing. They just said, you lost, get out. So now Derek gets to pick his daddy to go on a date with, and obviously he's going to pick Anthony. It'd be wild if he didn't, if he would just randomly pick someone else just to stir shit up. But he picks Anthony, so they get to go on a cute little one-on-one date. So for the one-on-one date, Derek and Anthony get to like do karate in the backyard, which sounds great. If like a 7-year-old me was like, I'm going to do karate in the yard. So they get to go out and learn like karate or jujitsu or something in the backyard. And this instructor that's there does a lot of tough poking, a lot of poking and knuckling on these people. And I just gagged when I saw this scene right here. Let's take a quick look. It's like, is he gonna hit them? Is he gonna keep hitting them this entire time?
Then things should start changing.
I was about to go after him. He was punching my daddy hard. I was like, hold up, sir. I know this is your specialty, but that's still my man at the end of the day. Don't be punching him like that.
He said, don't be punching him like that. So, yeah, the guy's like showing him how to punch, and if you put your knuckle out, it hurts more or something like that. Just be an adult and get a pair of brass knuckles. Listen. When I'm walking home from work, I got keys between my knuckles like this, like the old school trick, because you never know. You never know who's going to try to come and steal you. Imagine if someone kidnapped me. All right, let's sound off in the comments below. How long do you think it would be before the kidnapper would end up giving me back because I was too annoying? Actually, don't answer that. It's not going to be good for my self-esteem. Derek and Anthony finish getting beat up and beating each other up as their reward for winning the spelling bee, and they go and sit and have a little chat afterwards to talk about how they feel their relationship is going, and here's what they had to say.
I really do enjoy being with you.
Yeah.
And one thing that I'm always afraid of is getting close to people and then them leaving my life.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that is
legit and it's real.
Yeah, please don't. Just do me a favor. Don't play with this, you know?
I'm not. I'm definitely here for love. The connection we built so far in a short amount of time, it's scary, I'm not gonna lie. I love the journey that we're on. It's organic. Let's keep it going. A wise woman once said, let it flow. I don't think I'm falling in love with him a little bit. I think I'm falling in like a lot. Not a little bit, but a lot.
Love a second.
I did say love, but that slipped up, so we can scratch that.
You slipped up a couple times today, though.
I had a few drinks.
We're definitely.
He goes, I've had a few drinks, but I feel like they're really feeling each other. And also, side note, Derek's body is fucking sickening. Like, the way he was just sitting right there, I was like, come on, abs, come on, chest, come on, arm muscle. He's daddy now. Oh my god, what if the twins came back, but they were on Team Daddy next season? That would be hilarious. Anyways, so yeah, they're both, Anthony and Derek are obviously feeling each other. Anthony just wants to make sure, like, basically when he's saying, like, don't play with it, he's like, don't string me along, don't break my heart, take this as seriously as I'm taking it. And I feel like they are genuinely connecting. And I've said this before, it's like, I think we'll see a little bit more towards the end of this episode, a little spoiler, but like, there's someone to look out for. Like, both of the twins are really solid with their guys, and they're actually someone to look out for, and they're always going to have each other's back. So just by Dr. Ed and Anthony each being with one of the brothers, now the four of them are basically in an alliance together. So it would be smart to take a shot at a couple, or at least any one of them if they could, because that takes out the fact that they are a major alliance in the house, and if they wanted to do something about it, they could. Because if it comes down to voting, they would keep an upper hand. And also depending on what each of those people's friendships are like. So like if Derek and Hazel are close, for example, or something, then he can sway that vote. But then that also helps Ed and Anthony, like, you know, so it's good to have a core alliance like that, but it's also good to go against an alliance like that in a game like this. But the thing with For the Love of DILFs is you never know how eliminations are going to go. They change how they do eliminations every time. Sometimes it's a vote. Sometimes it's one team votes another team. So like you never know how it's going to happen. So you can't really prepare, especially on season 1. Like we had no idea. We didn't know if we were all coming in at the same time until like close to going on. We didn't know if it was going to be eliminations or people just kept piling on. So we really had no idea. They have a little bit of an idea, and I'm still curious to know. I know I'm jumping ahead because we're not even halfway through this season yet, but I'm curious to know if it's going to be them voting for each other to win again at the end, because it doesn't matter if you're genuinely connecting or if you feel like you're the strongest couple. It doesn't matter. If you rub people the wrong way, they're just not gonna vote for you. If people feel snubbed because you voted them out, they're not gonna vote for you, even if they know that you deserve it. If you vote somebody off but their friend is in the final, they're not going to vote for you even if you're the best one there. They're going to vote for their friend. That's just how it works on reality television. So I'm curious to see if that's how it's going to shake out at the finale here. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. It is not finale time yet. There are 10 episodes this season, by the way. There was 8 on season 1. There's 10 on season 2. So we're not even halfway into the juicy drama yet. Can't wait. Here's where things start to get a little bit more interesting with Nick and Kane. They're on the stairs talking, and I love what, by the way, side note, when they do like these shots on that grand staircase thing in the middle, it looks so cool. I got to do a scene there. It's just cool. It's like, look at these expensive stairs I'm on. It reminds me of that gif of Peter Griffin when he's like in drag and he's coming down the stairs all quick. But so they're having this this one-on-one talk on the grand stairs, and Nick's trying to just chat with him and be like, oh, we finally got the second date, blah, blah, blah. And Kane kind of just like cuts to the chase and asks him basically like, where do we stand emotionally? Because I think that he's also starting to feel like there's no actual like maybe like romantic chemistry going on. So here's what they ended up saying to each other on the stairs.
We kind of know where our head's at.
That's all game, right? Where are we emotionally though? Like, what's going on?
At this point, like, I think that I've finally gotten to a level where I can express things to you, where I feel like I can trust you. And like, if you notice that, like, I come up to you.
Yeah, I mean, you're more
any
affectionate now.
problem.
Like, you're more affectionate, and it's getting cute.
It's just like very hard for me to like usually like do a bunch of PDA and stuff like that because I've always been like looked at as like very sexualized.
Kane's saying that, like, yeah, he's more affectionate now or whatever, but it seems like there's a disconnect there. And then Nick says this.
We don't think you're easy because you're an influencer. We think you're a little vapid and self-absorbed maybe, but not easy.
Just like this, when I came on this show, I did it for like more than just the show. Game reason.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. This is what I've been told since I got here, is that you're here for one reason, and that is to increase your influence.
I love that. I love that because if I wanted to do something else where it could increase my influence, I'd just jump right into porn.
Yeah.
Now, sis, a quick like just social media search. He has an OnlyFans page, so I mean maybe what he thinks porn is like porn, like how I do, like studio and like porn, but like you still sell sex. So I feel like once someone says something about you in a setting like this too, once someone's like, oh, he's here just for to grow his influencing or his following, even if he's not, it's gonna stick because you're in this house and that's all you have is these people, and once one person says something, it sticks. But him being like, oh, if I wanted to do it, I could just do porn, that would get my influence. It's like, but you kind of do, right? So it just seems dishonest and off. It just seems off, I guess, is the only way to describe it. And Aaron even said at the end of the last episode, he's here for the West Hollywood gay thing. But I mean, sure, if you have an opportunity to grow yourself more too, do it. But I don't know, maybe own it. But I guess that would just bite you in the ass then too, right? Jeez, I'm saying I would do the same exact thing. If I had an opportunity to go on a show and I wasn't necessarily looking for love, I probably would have done it too. It just sucks that some people are there because they want to find love and be with somebody, and then you might have some people that are there just because they got the opportunity to do a TV show. Next, we see Nigel and Rico are having a little chat in the HImbo room, and Nigel says this.
I don't know if I've ever felt it like that. I don't know if I've ever felt that before. I'm really afraid to lose it. And I know it's so early. I know that. I just don't want to let this go. Everyone's constantly like, this is a game. But like, I came to a game. I came to a show to film. I came to be a part of something. But like, I felt for someone while I'm here. I haven't felt a connection.
So, this is a little tricky for me here. He says, I came to film and I came to be a part of something, which it also seems as if he was saying, like, I just came here to be on TV. Which is kind of like the same thing that people are kind of going after Nick for, too. It's he seems genuinely surprised, like, oh, shit, I came here just because I wanted to be on TV. I didn't think that this was going to be, like, a real thing. And now he's saying that he's falling for him and he's getting all emotional about it. But it almost seemed like he was like, I came here to film, I came here to be a part of something. Like, it was more like just to be a part of the show instead of actually finding love. So, I mean, good thing that was in the talking head and other people didn't hear it, because if I heard people saying that Nick was fake and then heard someone say that comment, even though he was saying it in like a vulnerable moment, I still would have been like, oh, so wait, you were just here for the fame aspect of it too? I know it's a sweet moment and that's what I took out of it because I'm a cynical bastard, but that's just how it came across. But basically he's like, it's been forever since I felt like this for anybody. And what other people don't understand is being in a show like this, even though you're only there for a short amount of time, it feels like forever. And every relationship that you make is like, it's sped up times 10. So you might be like, oh, how you've only known this person for a week, but like in reality show time, you've known that person for like 6 months already. Like, because it just speeds up how much you bond and how much time you spend together and everything like that. Next up, Keith wanted to talk to Jimmy about something. He had mentioned it earlier when they were playing pool. I just kind of skimmed over that part because he didn't go into more depth, but he's been saying he wanted to get something off his chest with Jimmy. And also, side note, if you don't know this, Keith was on another show called Bad Boys Club or something of that to that effect. I don't know if that was the exact name, but I found that out after he was on this show and I went to follow him. I was like, oh, he did like some other show. So when he was saying that he wanted to tell him something, I thought that he was going to tell him like about having been on that show and like a reputation that comes with it. But he said something a lot more serious and it made me really feel for him.
It was an abusive relationship. It was violent. Once I decided to actually stand up for myself and defend myself, I was incarcerated. I ended up in jail. So I was a little hesitant and nervous to tell you this, and I wanted to wait until we were a little, further down the line because you never know what can happen. When I actually care about somebody else, it eats me up.
Keith ends up telling Jimmy that he was in a like really shitty past relationship that was abusive, and when he finally ended up sticking up for himself, he got arrested and he went to jail. And it's so fucked up because you're in these relationships with people and they push and push and they treat you like shit. And then when you do something back, it's like you can come out on the other end looking like the bad person or like the person who did something wrong instead of the person who stuck up for themselves or felt like they had to fight for their life or just had enough. I mean, I'm not saying anyone deserves to get like hit or anything like that, but you can only take so much and be in such a relationship for so long. Like, it's just shitty. And anyone listening to this, if anybody puts their hands on you, leave. Don't make an excuse. Don't, oh, you was drunk or you didn't remember or it won't happen again or don't do it. It never turns around. They're never going to be in a relationship and somebody puts their hands on you and then they never do it again. Even if they never physically do it again, they're going to emotionally beat the shit out of you too. So do not stay in relationships like that. We might not know each other. You call me, I'll come over, I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'm not above putting my hand. No, I shouldn't say that. I'll slap someone for you though. We're all family here. So he was just worried to tell Jimmy that because he thought he might think of him in a different way. And Jimmy was like, no, I don't think of you in a different way. Jimmy says, I've never been to jail, but that doesn't, I don't know why he threw that in, but he said, I've never been to jail. So maybe he couldn't relate to it, but he's like, I don't view you any different. And I just felt so bad because you could tell like Keith was like, shit, I like this guy and I want to tell him this. And what if he's like, oh, that's a deal breaker? Because that very well could have happened too. But Jimmy's cool with it. And he's like, I'm happy that you told me and that you felt safe enough to tell me. And that was really cute. And they got to shoot out on that little balcony or whatever. I didn't know we had one of those. I want to do a balcony scene. Stormy gathers everybody in the living room and they're all in leather and lace and bondage and everything. And I think she looks so good here. And let's see the special guest that she's about to bring out for everybody.
I've invited a very dear and intimate friend of me and Dr. DILFS. Please welcome Master Sable.
I think we're about to get kinky tonight.
Hey, Stormy, how you doing, baby?
Tell them what you're going to be teaching them.
So I am going to teach you guys how to do some rope bondage.
So we find out Master Sable is going to be teaching them about rope bondage, and they're all going to get tied up and get kinky and stuff. I thought that was a really cool thing to like throw in. I thought, honestly, when they first went in, I was like, is this another competition? Or maybe there's going to be something for like immunity or something? Which I'm dying for there to be something where there's some sort of like immunity or like something hidden around the house. Like, remember in Big Brother? Oh my God, another tangent. So in Big Brother Canada, to be specific, which is, if you haven't watched Big Brother Canada, find a way to watch it. There's like, oh my God, there's like 8 or 9 seasons now or something. It's so good. But they had Marsha the Moose, and sometimes Marsha the Moose would come to life and talk to you if no one was around and they couldn't see, and she'd give you like special missions or immunity or powers. There should be like a Marsha the Moose type thing that's like, again, it's not every season. So sometimes people would just hang around Marsha on seasons and she would never say anything because I think they thought it was going to be a power. So Anyhow, I think there should be like hidden immunities and hidden powers, but I thought this was going to be another competition or something. But no, they just get to hang out and learn about bondage and get tied up and be all kinky together, and I think that's really cool. So we find out as they just go couple to couple and have them have their little moment and talk. We find out that there's also going to be a group vote tonight, and it is a double elimination. Double elimination. Double means two in French, in case you didn't know. So it's going to be a double elimination, and it's going to be one daddy and one himbo leaving, and it is by vote. And each person gets to cast 2 votes, a vote for a daddy and a vote for a himbo. They don't have to vote as couples, they vote individually, so you can really strategize here, and they don't show who you vote for until after, when you're watching back, you can see. So, I mean, even if you wanted to play with some real strategy, you could tell your daddy or your himbo, let's vote this way, and you could vote fully another way. Would you gag if one of the twins voted the other twin out? You know who would do something like that? If I ever get on TV with Severity Stone, if you don't know Severity Stone, shout out to Severity. She is a drag queen from Boston or Providence now. Very talented. Go give her a follow, Severity Stone. If we ever got on a show together, that bitch would vote me out instantly. And should do it because it'd be like a funny bit. Ha ha, remember when I voted you out? I guarantee it. So they get to vote for one daddy and one himbo, and they'll both be leaving tonight. And I know that double elimination feeling. Your heart sinks. So now that they've been told the bad news, they're going to do sexy bondage together. We get back to the control or controlling situation thing with Dr. Ed. And it's like, I don't know if it's self-aware or not, because it's so funny that he's bringing up this thing about, I don't want to be called controlling, while he has somebody tied up and in bondage next to him. And it's just so funny. He's like, look, I'm trying not to be too controlling, as he tightens the ropes on him. But he says this on their date.
I'm really trying to, dead this whole thing about the whole control conversation.
Oh, in this moment, you can control me all you want. No, but in all seriousness,
I don't want you to feel like I'm going to control you. I think that just in many aspects of my life, I have not gotten to where I am by not being in control of my life.
So he's basically saying what I was kind of thinking that he meant earlier. He hasn't gotten as far as he's gotten without being in control, but I think another word for that, instead of control or leading, could be just assertive, but people could take that word as shitty too. But I think what he's trying to get across is he hasn't gotten to where he is without hard work. And sometimes somebody who works hard and is sure of themselves can be looked at a certain way, and he doesn't want anyone to think that he's this controlling person or making people do stuff. But it's just really funny in this moment while tied up. He's like, I'm not trying to control you. I just think it's just it's so reality TV. It is so reality TV. We head over to Kane and Nick's date, and I think that it's funny that everyone else is in black bondagey stuff, and Nick is in a wrestling singlet, which, first of all, he looks so fucking hot. He looks so hot, and he's about to do something in a second, and that you video watchers will see. The audio listeners, you have to go over to YouTube at Up All Night, if not for any other reason but to look at Nick. Let's take a listen in on their date.
I feel secure. I am not kinky. I'll be straight up with you like that.
No, what is this?
Yeah, this is an act.
So he's saying that Kane's saying that he's not kinky at all, and I think it's funny when he's like, oh, what's this to a change? It's an act. It's just basically it's a prop they gave me. This isn't me at all. And I think it's good that he just open about, here's who I am. It's not my thing. And it's a cute little date, but then they share this awkward kind of kiss for a second. But then Nick does the hottest thing in the whole episode, and you're about to see it.
You know, when it comes to sex and relationships, so tying you up's probably a little bit too far for this moment, but
I've got to ask you a serious question though.
Yeah.
Like, do you prefer me like this? Or do you prefer me like this?
No, definitely like that.
Yeah, definitely like that. Definitely like the second one. I was like, oh shit. I rewound it and watched it again. He looks good. Maybe I'm into like wrestling singlets now. I'm also drinking this Christmas IPA that I was given during the holidays whilst not drinking, so I'm enjoying it now, end of February. But they had a cute little date. It was really fun to look at Nick, but I don't know, something just feels like there's just not an actual like real connection there. But let's be honest, if you're on a reality show about dating, not everyone's you're gonna get a couple people that connect and then people that just don't, but they don't necessarily aren't into each other, just maybe not as into each other as somebody else. And I'd rather that than something forced, like, oh my god, we're getting married at the end of this. I wonder if anybody will ever get married from this show. I want to officiate the wedding. I'm calling it now, I'm officiating it. Jimmy and Keys are having fun on their date, and then apparently Jimmy brought something from home that he thought maybe this might work on one of the dates that I go on.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I liked it.
Yeah, but you know, I feel like something is missing.
Whatever outfit I had was just not going to compete with anyone else. So I'm like, all right, I'll bring this.
No, it's cool.
What?
You're fine.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
So he just brings out a paddle, and the funny part about these dates too is it's like you're around the whole other cast and crew, and it's like everyone's listening. They might be looking, but they're all listening in on what you're saying. And imagine you just getting like whacked with a paddle in front of the whole cast and crew. Love it. Now, that's something about porn people don't understand too. When you're shooting like actual like studio work, there's like a bunch of people in the room with you. It's not as intimate as you might think. Imagine you thought we were all in love. You thought every time that anyone shot any sort of video, they were making love. Another side note. Never, ever fall in love with somebody that you're doing a scene with. Porn-wise. Well, I don't know. Maybe it has worked out. I wonder if there are any like porn couples that met on set that actually stayed together. I'm 0 for 3 on that, by the way. So, anyways, Keith gets paddled by Jimmy. We find out that the twins are both, in fact, freaks because we saw the first date and that he was all into being tied up. And then we see this happen with Anthony.
I just wanted to make sure it was okay. He said, yeah, of course, that's good because I'm about to be a freak, okay? It's just something about you that... If you don't mind.
No, not at all.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Oh, wow. Is my favorite. They say, oh, wow. And you like him, don't you? All the time. I'm going to Florida in a couple weeks, and I'm hanging out with these two bitches, and we are going to have a blast. So they get all freaky together. We find out that Anthony is a voyeur. He's into voyeurism, and I think that's hot. I once had a hookup. I keep going on these tangents, but this is what this is for, right? I once had a hookup with this guy, and he is right when I first like moved to Chicago, and I guess it wasn't really a hookup. This guy wanted me to walk down. He gave me his address where he was, and he was going to be pleasuring himself in the window so I could see. And so I like walked down to go look, and there was a dude changing, super fucking hot, blah, blah, blah. And then the guy saw me, and he like closed the curtain, and I was like, oh, maybe that's part of it, whatever. The guy messages me, he's like, you never came by. I had gone to I walked down the wrong little like side alleyway, and I just happened to watch some guy changing, and I never actually saw the other guy, because I didn't know what the face looked like. It was just body pictures on Sniffies, you know? Imagine I got in trouble for that. That's hilarious. I've never told anyone that story, by the way. Maybe that might not make it. That might not make the cut. But, so... the twins are freaks. Anthony's into voyeurism. Jimmy's got a paddle. I mean, everything seems to be going great in the living room today. Next, we go over to Sal and Hazel's date. And Sal starts to talk about how he was in the leather community and he loves the leather community. And I want to say, living here in Chicago and bartending at a cruisy bar, I guess we'll call it. The leather community is the nicest community of people. The leather and the pub community. I mean, I've worked at like circuit bars and clubs and everything, and they can be real bitchy or like not even like look you in the eye when they're ordering drinks. The leather community, they're sweet. They bring you gifts. They remember your birthday. They really are sweethearts. And here's what Sal had to say about that.
Seem to know what you're doing.
Yeah, I've had some experience. You know, I'm 60, so I've been around the block a few times, and I was part of the leather community for a while I guess I was in my 30s. So yeah, it's a big turn on for me, actually.
That's cool.
I like your harness. Hot.
Oh.
So he talks about how he's just in the leather community because Hazel's like, oh, you know how to like do these knots and stuff. But you can tell that there's no click there, like at all. And he actually says it. Sal goes on to say, it ain't happening here. There's nothing going on. And I think at that point, after this little date here, he realizes like, shit. Because he even said on the last one, he goes, I'm going to give up a sure thing for the unknown. And it might bite me in the ass. And I think it is about to. And it makes me wonder if he second guesses having not just picked Aaron. But I mean, I get it. He kind of felt shafted by him. Like he felt like maybe he wasn't into him because of what everyone else was saying in the house. I think that if this was like regular life and they went on a date, no strings attached, we went on a date, and then Aaron happened to go on another date and then went on a date with Sal again after, I don't think it would be as weird because like I'm currently dating somebody. If he went on a date with somebody else and then we went on another, it's not weird because we're not like together. We're not officially together. So I wonder if they didn't have the outside influence of just like people, not saying like production, like people in the cast just being like, he didn't pick you, he betrayed your trust. I feel like maybe things would have went differently. And I feel like now he's going to see that maybe he made the wrong choice in eliminating Aaron for Hazel because doesn't really seem to be a connection for the two of them there. Nigel and Rico are having their little cuddly date moment, and Nigel's talking about maybe some of his kinks or a little bit about what he's into sexually, and he says,
in the dom sub community, and I've never spent time on this side, so it meant a lot that we could like take things there on a fun sexual level. Right now, some of my favorites are kind of getting into pup play.
We can do all those things, but I'm more so like open to doing those things with my partner.
Yeah, you know, I'm definitely looking forward to exploring.
So Rico doesn't say much about what he's into. He's like, yeah, we can get into that just as long as I'm doing it with you type of thing. But I love how every time Nigel says something, he's like, this means so much to me. This means a lot to me. I'll remember this. It's always like emphatically the best thing that's happened. His very positive attitude. And Rico's basically like, yeah, cool, I'm down for whatever as long as I'm doing it with my partner. And I kind of like that too. It's like, yeah, I'm down to clown as long as we're clowning together. Let's start a circus. God, clowns are scary, huh? Again, follow Severity Stone since we're on the clowns topic. And that's the end of that little leather bondagey rope date that they were doing. And we're about to get to the hard part, the elimination and the voting. And it's just so fun to be on a reality show and cast a vote for somebody. It's so fun. It was my favorite. When the first night we did that, when they're like, oh, we're like doing it like a la Survivor. We're all going to write it on parchment. I was like, shut the fuck up. Yes. I was so excited for that. So, although it is nerve-wracking and scary and stuff, it's so cool to just vote for somebody on a reality show. It's now time to vote. Also, they've transformed this living room 4 times in one day. I know that art department was working real hard for this one. They've literally shot so many scenes in this living room. Like, where's the couch? Where'd they put the couch? Must have been raining that day. I bet you it was raining. Oh, God. It rained for us. Our picnic scene, the one which was my favorite scene ever with Phoenix, the one that I ended up going viral with my little clip. Love that scene forever. We had to shoot it inside because it rained. So I bet you that's what happened, because they did a bunch of turnarounds for this. Anyhow, so we're all here getting ready for the elimination, and there is going to be a spoiler. I'm going to talk about who gets eliminated. So if you haven't watched the episode yet, please go and watch it. You can go to OutTV to watch it. You can watch it through Prime, Roku. Go watch, because I'm about to spoil it. So before the voting happens, the funniest thing is about to go down. And I think it's wild because it's like, why? Why do this? Why? But they bring in 2 new competitors. They bring in a new daddy and a new himbo, and they make them watch the elimination vote and make the people getting eliminated see who their replacements are. Wild. So the gag's about to happen. Also, look at Stormy in this dress. She better do it. The gag is about to happen, and I think it is really funny that they're like bringing these 2 new boys in to watch this all happen. So we get to meet the new himbo and the new daddy, and here they are.
Oh, things happen fast here, and beds never stay empty for long at DILF Mansion. There's a himbo and a daddy leaving tonight, so of course we have fresh meat coming in. O'Toole.
What are they?
The gorgeous new men who are taking their place are going to watch the elimination. That's brutal. I must have been wasted when I thought of that one.
This is Barry and Marcus, our new himbo and daddy, and pay attention, guys, because tomorrow night, this could be you.
So we meet Barry and Marcus. Jesus Christ. Everyone gets hotter and hotter as they come in. I'm starting to feel like they're going to a different planet to find these boys. Their abs, the amount of abs in this house right now, too many abs. That should be the name of the show, Too Many Abs. So Barry and Marcus are there, and they're going to watch the daddy and himbo get the boot, and they're going to take their place. And it's just kind of funny. It's like, oh, you're out of here? Just like moving their stuff out of their bedroom, like getting in there. But yeah, so there's a bunch of votes going around. There are votes for Sal, Dr. Ed, Nick, Derek, and for a minute, they're all kind of tied. And voting for Derek and Dr. Ed it's smart moves, because voting for Derek, Daniel, Dr. Ed, or Anthony to get any one of them out breaks apart that power alliance that people aren't necessarily seeing, because I think other people think that they're I think like Nigel and Rico and Jimmy and Keese honestly think like they're the only ones that have a chance and everyone else is kind of just like there. But like there's a huge alliance here that's right in front of everybody that no one's seeing. So Dr. Ed and Derek do get some votes, but sadly we find out the first one eliminated is Sal. He's the first daddy that's going to be eliminated, and I think he kind of saw that coming. But he was, you know, like he said before, whatever happens, happens. He's happy that he's there. He said the hardest part was filming the 60-second video on his phone and getting it onto the computer, but he did it, so he's just happy he did that. Then the votes go on, and Nick gets another vote, and another vote, and another vote, and it turns out that it's Nick getting eliminated. So Nick and Sal are the 2 eliminated. Nick feels really betrayed because he feels like all those people were his friends, which I'm sure they are all still friends, but I think that they all did agree that he just didn't, they were saying he didn't take the time to get to know him, which means when they were sitting around the house doing whatever, chilling, hanging in between scenes, eating and stuff, they probably didn't see him hanging with Kane much, is probably what they meant by that. Kane's really upset because I think Kane really liked him and thought he was misunderstood, and had a fun time when they did hang out and talk. Sal, like I said, Sal's like, cool, this was fun. Thanks for the mansion and the trip. This is a blast. And he's such a sweet guy, and it's really funny that every time that he says something, he like dates himself, like the typewriter comment sent me earlier. But I don't know if you've heard this, but Nick lives in LA. He's mentioned it once or twice, and he sure let you know it again on the way out. And they were just basically saying they didn't feel like he was trying, and it sucks, but who knows how the season's going to go. Maybe they bring someone back. We thought our whole season, every episode, we're like, they're bringing back Phoenix. They're going to bring back Phoenix. So maybe they bring somebody back on this episode that was eliminated prior, or maybe there's like a battle back or something. That would be so cool. I want them to throw every reality show trope into this one. Hidden immunity idols, battle backs. I want it all. But sadly, we say bye to Nick and to Sal, and we say hello to Barry and to Marcus, and hello indeed. I was like awooga with the big hard eyes when they walked out. And yeah, the next episode is going to be crazy. They got a new daddy and a himbo coming in. Who knows how that's going to shake up the dating. I feel like the people that are there, a lot of them feel so like we have to stick to who we're with and stick to this, but it just takes like having an actual spark with somebody to realize what you think that you have with somebody isn't real. Like these people might be staying together because they're like, oh yeah, we're supposed to because we're from the beginning. But if you meet somebody and you actually have like a genuine connection that's stronger or more real, who knows? Maybe things could get all shooken up.
My
I
overall
also really
experience
enjoyed
here,
Nick's goodbye.
honestly, it's been so new. I've been so sassy. I've yelled and said things that I don't think I would ever have said anywhere else. There are a bunch of rumors that I was fake and that
I say bravo to Nick and to Sal, and for Nick with giving us that one last gift as he left DILF Mansion. I want to say thank you to you guys so much for listening. I'm working on making this better and better every time. Hopefully the sound is much better this time, and I've got the new laptop and camera coming, so next episode will be even better than this one. So please like, share, subscribe. You can listen to this on Spotify, wherever you get podcasts, really. I know there was a problem with the Apple podcast, but it should be working now. They should all be up there. And please watch the video version on YouTube. If you have any other suggestions, please let me know. Any other shows that you think maybe we should recap in the future that aren't DILFs. And if you have any ideas for some guests to have on, I'm also looking for anybody who works in queer nightlife, queers just generally. I want go-go dancers, drag queens, bartenders, sex workers, all of it. I want to interview whoever I can. And I want to say thanks so much to all the cast and crew for Love of DILFs. This is a great season so far, and I'm excited to watch more. And I cannot wait to see what happens on the next episode of For the Love of DILFs. So make sure you tune in and watch the recap with me. And like I said, if you haven't watched the episodes yet, go watch them. What are you doing? Don't just watch it on here. Out TV, Roku, Amazon. It's worth it. And you get tons of other shows when you get your Out TV subscription as well. So just do it. Good night, goodbye.